A quick few questions for you all. Does online privacy or lack of it concern you? And do you ever feel like your online privacy has been invaded? Well, after 2,300 podcast interviews on here, there are so many areas that I'm now aware of, such as the fact that my internet service provider literally knows everything that I do online. And incognito mode in a web browser doesn't offer as much protection as many think. But think about this. Would you find the prospect of handing over your laptop or phone to a complete stranger, or even a friend for that matter, to look at your browsing history to be the stuff of nightmares? And yet, someone out there knows absolutely everything you do online, every click, whether you like it or not. So if you want to stop internet service providers from always looking over your shoulder and profiting from your data, you need something like Private Internet Access, which is the world's most transparent VPN provider. They have over 30 million downloads. PIA has servers in 84 countries and in all 50 states. And it's the perfect software for staying private online because it hides your IP address and encrypts your internet connection. And Private Internet Access is really easy to use. There are apps available for all operating systems, and one subscription can protect up to 10 devices at once. And I'll be honest, as a daily tech podcaster, keeping my life private is very important to me. And after thousands of interviews talking about security issues on here, I'm more determined than ever to keep snoopers out of my digital life. So if you want to enjoy all the benefits of Private Internet Access, now's a great time to subscribe. Simply head to piavpn.com/techtalksdaily and get an 83% discount. Seriously, 83%, which works out at just $2.03 a month. And you also get 4 months completely free. But to activate this offer, you must go to piavpn.com/techtalksdaily for a truly private digital life. One last time, piavpn.com/techtalksdaily. Now, on this podcast, I'm passionate about proving that technology works best when it brings people together. And every day I share stories from the tech industry in as many countries as I can. And today, I'm genuinely excited to get today's guest on the podcast. Her name is Dominika Szulc, and I've invited her on the podcast today to share her unique career transition into IT, and also how the machine learning world works from a junior specialist perspective, and also ask her to share her perspective on women in tech, and also an increasing diversity of thought, getting people from multiple backgrounds into the industry, and how countries are working together. IT specialists are collaborating to make a real difference to businesses. And I also want to learn more about the project she's been working on at Future Processing, but I don't want to reveal too much, so buckle up and hold on tight, because no matter where you're listening in the world, today I'm going to be beaming your ears all the way to Poland, where Dominika is waiting to share her story. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
So hi, Neil. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be part of your show. I'm Dominika Szulc, and I am a machine learning engineer at Future Processing, and I am also a mother of a 2-year-old child. Previously, I was an optometrist, an account manager responsible for selling contact lenses, and a field marketing representative. Actually, my transition from a marketing department to the world of data happened during my maternity leave. And now I'm responsible for performing exploratory data analysis, data cleaning, data visualization, and building machine learning modules.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack there. So I'd love to find out more about how you got to your current role, because I feel there's a really cool backstory. So can I ask that you share your origin story, where your passion for tech came from, and that moment that put you on the path you're on today? Because you didn't begin in tech, did you?
Yeah, so sure. I would love to answer that question. People ask me that quite often. So to be honest, I came to the idea of entering the technology sector because of several reasons. First of all, I've noticed a huge transition in the optometry world from a manual examination to the usage of technology devices, like, for instance, making an appointment by a mobile app or fitting ocular lenses by multifunctional devices. But it was not the time that I made my decision about changing my career. And to tell the truth, I got a very lucrative job offer as an account manager, and I took it. Then my main job was to take care of optical store, optometrist, and of course, selling contact lenses. But I was happy that I could still help people to get better vision. And I was on a very promising career path, but I felt something was wrong. And one day on one of our corporate coaching sessions, I just felt I didn't fit that word anymore, so I quit. I didn't know what to do, and I spoke a lot to my husband, who also ran his own technological company. And we spoke about various things, like how the world was changing, how job market was changing, evolving. And you know what? To be completely honest, I noticed something bizarre about myself back then, because in high school, I attended a dedicated mathematically profiled class, and I had programming course too. And I remember that we learned C++, and it was a true nightmare for me. And I promised myself back then that I will never be a professional software developer, like never ever in my life. So here I am. And, I realized that all I missed was my passion to science and math. And I had no clue how to find myself in this job market. And also coming back to the university was not an option. So what I did next was that I explored possibilities and reviewed my skills. And after thorough research, I got inspired by some great data scientists, such as Cassie Kuzerkov from Google, and I entered data science and the machine learning field. This is it.
Wow, what an amazing story. I absolutely love that. And I think you're in a very powerful position here and you will inspire people listening all over the world, because I think many people think about pivoting to a career in tech. And as someone that spent 5+ years in the sales and optometry industry and then attended an online coding school to transition into a tech career, I've got to ask, what lessons did you learn on your story there, your journey? And what advice would you offer to somebody listening today that's interested in following in your footsteps? Because maybe they're getting that same niggling feeling that, hey, I'm on a good career path, but it's not for me anymore. What would you say to that person?
Oh, that is a really important question, in my opinion. So honestly, changing career is difficult. It's time consuming and it requires a lot of effort. But what I learned is that persistent is not a gift, it's a skill, and you can learn it among others. So I personally think that what helped me the most is keeping in mind my ultimate goal. Every time I doubted in myself, I kept repeating that goal like a mantra. So, it's crucial to know why you do something. Then it's, sort of easier to survive those bad moments. And I would also love to add something about my online coding school, because, this is something very special about them. They offer sort of additional benefits that distinguish it from competitors, and that is the community. I had to attend regular stand-ups, and when it was harder, people helped me to stay on a track. And what I also do think is that you need to take time to get your own skills and strengths, because in the IT world, there is a variety of different roles like UX, UI designers, business analysts. So everyone can find something suitable. So take a time and think about it before making a commitment. To be honest, I'm very satisfied with the decision that I took, but I only regret that I hadn't done it sooner.
Yeah, that's something that I hear people say a lot, that it is so scary and terrifying to make that leap. I made a similar leap myself, and it was scary and terrifying. But as soon as you get through that and you get the other side of fear, you think, man, why didn't I do that sooner? So 100% with you on that. And if we were to look down at our smartphones and scroll down our news feeds, we've got futurists, experts and journalists all filling those news feeds with how they see machine learning impacting our world. But I'd love to invite you into this conversation and get your perspective as a junior specialist on how you see machine learning changing the world and the work that you're doing and the impact that it's having. What are you seeing there?
Okay, so it's a little bit difficult question to me, because I'm still exploring this world, and all the time I'm being surprised about what it offers. My first projects, ML projects, were related to tasks like a binary classification, a glucose level prediction, law application, acceptance or rejection. So very simple ideas. And also I used tools such as random forest or super vector machines. And simple models, simple evaluation metrics. Actually, everything was sort of simple. And well, then I entered a technology company and I realized how much more complex projects might be. I think that I was not naive. I knew what were waiting for me, but I just was not aware of the scale. So it was like I was seeing only the top of the iceberg, and then I dived underneath the surface and saw how vast the hidden part was. And not to mention that after a couple of months since I started my job, all the generative AI solutions came onto the stage. I was then, and I'm still am very surprised by them. But will I be able, or when will I be able to create such an extraordinary solutions? I don't know. And it might be discouraging when you know how competitive this industry is. But as people say, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. So I'm not giving up, even when it's hard.
And I also think it's so important to increase diversity of thought into the tech industry, especially if we're going to solve some of those big problems. And to do that, we've got a big digital skill shortage at the moment, and we need to get people from all backgrounds into the tech industry. And many people get imposter syndrome and convince themselves they're not technical. But of course, anybody can enter the industry with the right training and transferable skills. And I'm curious though, as a woman in tech, what have been your biggest challenges?
To be honest, absence at work due to family duties. Yeah. Definitely. For me, this is non-questionable number one challenge that I face repeatedly. Trying to balance my professional development and the pursuit of excellence at work, while at the same time dealing with a sick 2-year-old baby. That is challenging. I must say that Future Processing is very supportive, so they understand the fact that I came back from the maternity leave and that sometimes I need to just take a couple of days off. This is great because I'm not stressed all the time. However, my absence at work obviously causes a lack of continuity in project development. So also it slows down my progress, even when I learn during nights and during weekends.
And I also read on your LinkedIn profile before you came on the podcast that you're focused on developing your skills and knowledge throughout the IT industry. And you do your best to bring high value to every project that you deal with. So can you tell me more about your view on learning and development and offer any insights from your experiences over the last few years too?
Okay, sure. So I think that I'm going to make it straight. So speak with some more experienced people. Find someone who can guide you, who's already been in a place that you are at the moment, because entering a new discipline is like entering a forest. There's a ton of materials and courses available. It's impossible to learn everything at once. No one has such capacity. So approach this process wisely, validate your ideas with someone else. And also, I've already mentioned once during our conversation, my online coding school, which is Turing College, and its unique community. They also offer something additional, which is after every part of the materials, I have to deliver a project, which I present them then in front of peers and also in front of experienced data scientists or email engineers. This is an incredible experience. So I can also add that, fortunately to me, when I joined data solutions team at Future Processing, I was welcomed very warmly by the team of people who can write a book on how to support junior specialists. So just to wrap it up, allocate your time carefully and try to surround yourself with people who might leverage your development. And I really do believe that tools to do it will come naturally.
I completely agree with you. And you have had an inspiring journey into the tech industry, and your own unique path led you to Future Processing. And for people that are hearing about Future Processing for the first time, can you tell me more about the company and the problems that set out to solve with technology too?
Yeah, of course. I would love to do it. So Future Processing is a technology consultancy and software delivery partner based in Poland. We support clients from a variety of different industries, such as insurance, fintech, trade, constructions, healthcare, and like many others. And we have been on the market for 23 years now. And during that time, we developed our unique approach to delivering the best software. I can even add that we gave it a special name, which is the future processing way. And what I can say more, we have more than 1,000 people on the board. And personally, I think that the reason that stands behind it is that we have very, very strong cultural fundamentals where personal relations are our greatest treasure. So it's not only between employees, but also we would like to be considered as a terrific business partner. So we simply ask our clients how they see us and if our efforts are visible. Unfortunately to us, the surveys confirm that. And one of my favorite examples of projects we do is a cooperation with FairShare, that is UK-based charity fighting against hunger and food waste. We built a cloud-based solution that serves for sourcing and management of the goods in and the goods out.
And just to bring to life your role and the work that you do there on a daily basis at Future Processing, I appreciate you probably can't share too much, but can you share anything about some of the projects that you've worked on?
Yeah, I can think of one particular project that I would like to describe. This is still an ongoing project, and it's related to the 3 species recognition. And last year, Future Processing started a cooperation with the non-governmental organization from Greece, where both institutions are based. And first, I would like to give a short context to this project, because generally there was a trend in the cities some time ago to remove trees and green areas and replace them with parking slots, concrete walkways, and monuments. Obviously, it was not common everywhere, but unfortunately, in Poland, it was quite popular. It had terrible effects, not only on urban architecture, but also on the air temperature, air quality, and humidity. So people realized that it was a horrible idea and decided to bring those green areas back. Thankfully, but in the same time, this time they wanted to do it with some metrics, like for instance the number of trees per square meter. And surprisingly, it turned out not to be that easy to do. And here is my place for my task, which is to build a machine learning model that takes a tree picture as an input, classifies it into a specific species, and saves its metadata like localization and the date when the picture was taken, and stores this information like an archive. Additionally, that project includes building a dedicated mobile app to take these pictures, and city activities together with primary and secondary school students will use it as a form of a city game. Isn't it nice?
It is. Well, I could listen to your stories forever, man. It's just so, you really are an inspirational individual. And I've got to ask, you strike me as someone that's not going to stay in the same place for one period of time. And by that, I mean, you've embarked on a journey of continuous learning. So what is next for you? What excites you about the future?
Okay, so since the day I started to work at Future Processing, I realized that I need to invest more time in more broad computer science skills, design process, continuous integration, and delivery. And this is about the hard skills. But I also fancy talking to people, solve problems, even dealing with difficult situations. I miss that a little. So my plan is to one day combine the both hard and the soft skills, presumably build maybe my own data team, or to become a mentor or to another young mommy who wants to put her first steps in machine learning. This sounds really exciting, but I'm aware that it will take time to get there.
Oh, man, absolutely love that. And I always like to put the location of my guest on the map too. I'm very fortunate to have people listening in 165 countries. I think we've had guests in 70 different countries. So I'd love for you to tell me a little bit more about the tech scene and the community in Poland. Is there anything you can share and help us put Poland and that tech scene on the map today?
Okay, so I believe that I can help you with that too, because I can recall a lot of information, from my role when I was a field marketing specialist. So Poland is an IT destination that I think that is valued for highly qualified engineers and strong knowledge of English. I believe that IT sector in Poland is accounted for nearly 10% of Poland GDP. So it's very important sector in our country. I think that it's also worth it to mention that we have similar time zone to Germany or UK, France, and because of the central position on the European map, Polish businesses can easily reach customers in the Middle East, Asia, or the United States. I also recall that I think that from my perspective, as I perceived future processing back then when I was in the field marketing representative, and what I agree that it still helps me a lot, is that Polish programmers experience a similar work culture to the specialists in the UK, Germany, or France, and I really do think that it helps them to fit right into organization's team. So what came into my mind at the moment is that additionally, I believe that in the current economic climate, which is hard, cost cutting in global companies makes our region even more attractive than any time in the past, with less expensive but still high quality offer.
Fantastic. And we began the conversation today talking about your origin story. And I want to thank you for sharing your insights with everyone listening. But as we come full circle, I'm going to ask you to leave us with one more thing. And that is either a book that has inspired you that we can add to our Amazon wish list, or a song that means something to you. Maybe it just helps you get your head in the zone when you're coding that we can add to our Spotify playlist. All I'm going to ask is, what are you going to leave everyone listening with today and why?
Okay, so I would love to go with the song, because I must admit that one of the most important aspects of my life is music. So it shaped me. It was always by my side. And as I said before, I promised myself back in the high school that I would never become a professional software developer. But what eventually happened, you already know. And so I think that the song that best describes my life, and also as a side note, that is a song that once helped me to win an award in a local talent music competition, is Ironic by Alanis Morissette. This is an amazing song.
Yes, it is. That's a real classic there. So you've sung that as well, right?
Yeah, I did.
I'm not going to ask you to sing it now. There's a side of me that's tempted to, but I won't. But I will add that to our Spotify playlist. And for anyone listening that just wants to find out more about future processing, maybe reach out and contact your team, or maybe connect with you on LinkedIn, etc. What's the best starting point for everything?
So please visit futureprocessing.com. There you can find brief info about the company and services we offer. Particularly, if you go to the service section and click on data solutions, you will learn about what my team is best at. You can find there a thorough description of our skills and technologies we use on a daily basis. And please also don't forget to follow Future Processing or Dominika Szulc profile on LinkedIn.
Excellent. Well, I'll add those links to the show notes so people can find you nice and easy. Love chatting with you today, especially your personal backstory there of a career transition into IT, and also sharing your unique perspective as a woman in tech and on the world of machine learning and how this world is working, and also learning and development and getting other people into the industry. But more than anything, just thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely love chatting with Dominika today. And what a great story, and how she pivoted to a career in tech is nothing short of inspirational. And for anybody that has considered entering the world of tech but looks back to their school days or university days thinking, no, I made myself a promise, I'm never going to take that route, I'm never going to go there again, maybe it is time to scratch that itch, because Dominika has shared her story today. She had no intention of doing that, and she was on a good career path outside of the tech industry, but now fate has led her into the tech industry and there is no going back. Her only regret is that she didn't do it sooner. Food for thought. And no matter where you're listening in the world, if you've got a similar story or anything that you want to share, or maybe you're listening somewhere in the world that we don't talk about enough, that does have a great tech scene, wherever you're listening to this podcast, whatever you're thinking, I want to hear about it. That's why I'm here. That's why I show up every single day. So as always, email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, @NeilCHughes. Tell me you listen to the podcast, where you listen, what episode you enjoyed, what you'd like to hear more of, or if you'd like to come on yourself. The door is open. But equally, if you think, you know what, Neil, I'm quite happy just sat here with my earphones on listening to you, that is completely cool too. And I will return again tomorrow. I will break you down eventually and get you to contact me directly. But please, join me again tomorrow. We've got another guest lined up and another industry to explore together. So thank you for listening as always. And until next time, don't be a stranger.